Welcome and thank you for coming. I can tell you sincerely, I'm very excited about this symposium taking place. I consider it as a breakthrough step in promoting photography in coaching. And I would like, just before we start, or as we start, I would like to express my deep and sincere gratitude to the presenters and to the audience, to you, all of you who came and joined us today. So my name is Dorota Raniszewska. I'm a professional certified coach. I'm accredited by two coaching organizations, the EMCC and the Polish Chamber of Coaching. It has been my mission to spread inspiring news and case studies about using photographs in coaching for several years already. I spoke and presented at many international coaching conferences since 2017. And I had a very big dream. I wanted to organize a conference myself. But in the beginning, I didn't believe I could do it on my own. But you know, dreams are patient and we can always fulfill them. So last year, during quarterly meetings with a group of fantastic professionals who completed my course in photography and coaching, this idea became realistic. I was very inspired by and learning actually how my colleagues who are coaches, photographers, HR managers adapt photography in coaching to their professional practices. And I thought that this content deserved being shown to a larger audience, to you. And a few people agreed to co-create the symposium. For almost 1 year, we've been working as a team on what you will see and hear today. The symposium will flow in the following way. First, I make an introductory speech about photography and coaching. Next, presenters will speak according to the agenda that you received from me when you registered. Each presentation will take more or less 15 minutes. There will be no breaks between the presentations. And after they are done, and when we have the Q&A session, you will have a chance to ask questions, to share reflections in the chat and in the plenary. But the chat will be open and is going to be open for the whole symposium. So you can use it, you don't need to wait until then. When you want to ask the question to something specific during one or another presentation, just put it into the chat. And now I would like to open this symposium with an introduction about photography and coaching. And I entitled my speech, Images, the Images we Live In. Each photo we take has a beginning. Each photo has a meaning to us, for us. It would illustrate often what we like in the world and what inspires us, and thus it connects us to our sensitivity, appreciation of beauty, spirituality, fairness, or a sense of harmony. Also, pictures in the family albums would often represent our achievements, relationships that we build and that matter, as well as our dreams fulfilled. Thus, they trace our courage, wisdom, humanity. It's a way to remember of what we create in life and are proud of. I often ask my clients if they could find photos that illustrate what's most important in life. I know that when they come back home from the session, they will look up in the photo album and they would see life stories abundant in testimonies of their aspirations, hopes, values, relationships, achievements, and struggles that made them strong, wise, and resistant. Photos in coaching are about resources. I'll give you an example. Since May this year, I've been working with an Ukrainian woman, a refugee and a mother of a disabled child, who wanted to think of herself as good, brave, wise, and beautiful. But she didn't believe that really. But that was her objective. She wanted to start thinking so. And I asked her, so deep, very deep inside you, how do you think? Do you believe that you're good, wise, brave, and beautiful? And she said, yes, but it is very, very deep. I asked her to bring photos from her life that illustrate moments when she was brave, wise, and beautiful for the next session. How do you think? Did she find them? Yes, of course. She found photos showing her as a brave, wise, and beautiful woman. For me as a coach, she was able to acknowledge her strengths. Moreover, she kept the proofs of her qualities in her hands. These were her photos taken in the past that she kept until that day that she took with her while escaping from Ukrainian war, that she chose to remember and decided today to include into her coaching. Obviously, we were on the positive side. That unlocked further work on resources and the coaching process. We already knew both that she accessed a positive self-perception. And I didn't need, to multiply the coaching questions to make her believe in it. Actually, she had it in front of her eyes, in her hands. And this brought her to tears. So, photos in coaching, it's about a change. Photographs from our lives help us connect to what is deep inside us and bring it out and speak it out and continue to build on it. Because people can see moments of courage, happiness, wisdom, fairness, harmony in their photos. These are material proofs of what was and can still be possible. Feelings of losing direction or purpose, which is a frequent case of burnout, for instance, are difficult to overcome without energy and a positive emotional engagement. Photos showing valuable or important moments from life, from our lives, can trigger that energy, the energy for personal growth, for personal change, and the growth in the future. So photos in coaching are also about tools and techniques. Seeing photos activates in us what we describe. Photography, is not the goal in coaching process itself, but it becomes a tool. The goal is the client's reflection, insights, and change. But how can we help people to develop a life-changing reflection quickly and find insights that will reveal person's true beliefs and feelings? Usually, clients would discover that their true beliefs and feelings about various aspects of life are not necessarily the same as what is being said commonly. well, there is a point to look inside your own story, inside our biographies. And I discovered that personal photos are excellent in connecting to our true beliefs and feelings. I will give you another example. In autumn this year, I assisted a woman, an executive, a manager in coaching process. She also was from Ukraine, but she was living in Poland temporarily because of the war. The main topic for her as an executive was self-confidence and woman leadership. I asked her what would support her in self-confidence, in being self-confident, more self-confident. And she mentioned awareness of her values in the first place. She wanted to deepen her understanding of them. I suggested working with what I call the most important photo. The most important photo is an application in photography and coaching where I combine the idea of the most important photo and the model of neurological levels developed by Robert Dills. Something like ABC for coaches. And I said to her, for the next session, choose and bring your most important photo. We will use it when reflecting on your values. When we met 2 weeks later, she said with enthusiasm, but it was an experience, she said loud. Just looking at the photographs and browsing gave me a lot of reflection. I chose 3 pictures. I asked her to select one so we could focus on first, and she chose the photo where she is wearing a t-shirt with black and white stripes. She is standing, leaning against the wall, and she's smiling in this photo, and the wind blows her hair away. And the way she stands in this photo made me think that she's posing for a photo with someone she loved. What is important in this photo? I asked. This is my top question. What is important in this photo? The fact that I'm smiling, she replied. Who are you becoming then? She thought, and then she said, I'm myself. I'm then myself. When I smile, I'm back to myself, she added. And what then changes in you? I continued. I have more kindness towards people, trust, and openness. How do you then perceive the people and the world around you? I continued. As a friendly place. I'm more positive and I have more trust. She learned that when she smiles and is positive, she looks at the world and the people in a friendlier way. She has more confidence to them and kindness towards herself. As a result, it becomes easier for her to use her knowledge and skills and to express her opinions. Smiling, she feels relaxed and more confident in the company of others, and she begins to see the world as a safe place to live. You know, I don't think that she would have this reflection without her most important photo. It's not obvious to choose a photo where you're just smiling for an executive coaching session. In the here and now, when we met, she experienced the world as an insecure place. She escaped the Ukraine war. In her most important photo from the past, she saw the world as a safe place to live. She identified that safe world in herself, in her smile, in her attitude, and under her control. So, photos in coaching, it's about a process as well. So using photographs in a specialized coaching process, when asking powerful questions, or just simply creating a space for self-exploration, photographs help people better understand and acknowledge their uniqueness, specific situation, particular needs. They allow us to express ourselves in a true, authentic way. Photography can unlock the inner world, can be a key to unlock the inner world. It takes us beyond this cognitive realm and puts us in touch with the information that hides in feelings, sensations, hunches, intuition, emotions, and long-term memory. I observed how important it is for people to take photos and keep traces of life. Our photos, which we take and hold, prove the continuity of our biography. We need to remind ourselves about our achievements because we tend to forget that we've been creating unique lives. And it's additionally accurate as we live in this era of constant comparisons and not enough messages. At the same time, our individual lives are the space to use the courage we have, the perseverance, hope, self-love, pride, anything that is positive. Our own biographies can inspire us for further growth if we can see them as a continuity. It's a continuity. It's one of my central learnings from the last 10 years of that practice, because traditionally people see coaching as a tasks-based, focused on solutions, improvements in here and now. And it's absolutely true. But photography enables a more integrative impact regarding personality. Photography has become a way to personal development programs, therapeutic activities, therapy, art therapy, because pictures provide insights for self-awareness. They enhance communication. Moreover, photography as the act of taking photos offers a mindful and creative task that helps intellectual development, well-being, healing. And I hope and I wish that this use of photography and photos will be developing in coaching too. By design, coaching clients have good access to the resources, enabling satisfactory verbal work. But powerful questions, the main tool for coaches, are not the only ways to trigger reflection. Because so much in our lives remains unspoken, but sensed, felt, connected to our inner landscapes. So what I do in coaching is, first and foremost, I pose questions about photographs, based on which people discover new insights into the world, other people, and themselves, about their achievements, about their personality. An example of a powerful question can be, how does this photo testify to your freedom? So in my approach, contemplating personal photographs in the context of powerful questions represents a reflective technique. The second thing I do is to invite people to take photographs to illustrate the issues clients are dealing with in coaching. For example, I love the task of photographing the in-between. For instance, take a photo of the in-between, what is in between you and your partner, between you in the team, in your work, life. So in my approach to photography and coaching, active photography is a technique of looking for answers to questions. And the third thing is to practice photography daily. to support the changes that clients are working towards. A few examples are taking photos of and noticing beauty in sunlight, calming thoughts, developing a habit of consistency and follow-through, regulating day-night cycle of life. So in this approach, photography is also a technique that complements life coaching, similar to expressive writing or mindfulness that is widely used by coaches. So I'm almost done with my introductory speech. A few words about this symposium. Still, well, I develop and promote photography in coaching as a field because bringing photography into coaching opens up a new possibilities for deeper insights and clients' emotional engagement. And this is an essential context for this conference. We will not focus today on the traditional division between coaching therapy, art therapy. We will not focus on distinction between them. We rather are going to find and build bridges. Today, well-being professionals, as all of you here, are lifelong learners, and they you're completing courses in various disciplines, streams of therapy, art therapy, coaching, medicine even, well-being, including body and movement, nutrition, mindfulness, and so on. As a result, you combine elements of these fields in your professional practices, adapting them to your leading specialization. And today, presenters apply photography in different contexts of mental support, personal growth, and well-being. There will be case studies about photography in coaching adapted to self-awareness interventions, well-being interventions, brand and executive coaching, personal growth programs. Yes. And now I would like to invite Judy Weiser. Judy Weiser is based in Vancouver, Canada. She's an expert, an absolute world expert on emotional significance of personal photos. She's also the author of the famous book, PhotoTherapy Techniques. I'm just showing this book now, The Secret Lives of Personal Snapshots and Family Photos. I'm sure many of you know this book. Judy is a therapist, not a coach, but she'll explain very well how the concepts underlying phototherapy techniques that she developed can be useful for coaches. Judy, I'm honored to host you here, and I would like to express my, as you know, deepest gratitude to you for joining this symposium. The stage is yours. You can unmute yourself, please. You can unmute yourself.
That would help. Hello to everyone. And I love Dorota's introduction. The title of what I'm going to talk about today is adapting phototherapy techniques for coaching practices. And as Dorota said at the end, more informally, I thought I should title this, My Stuff Explains Why Your Stuff Works. Okay, I want to begin by thanking Dorota for inviting me to give this presentation today, to give a brief but important overview about the what, how, and most importantly, why of phototherapy techniques, which I first published about in 1975, and then share my experience, and hers also, that when coaches adapt these photo-based helping techniques to use in their own coaching sessions, they are very successful in helping people to shape their own life or work focus, as you will hear from all the other presenters today, all of whom Dorota trained in how to do this. But first, I want to make sure you know that if you become interested in learning more, you will be able to find links that Dorota will be providing for all of you today to be able to find out more from each speaker. Mine will include links to my website, phototherapy, therapeutic photography, and other related techniques. My Facebook discussion about these that has over 10,000 individually approved members from all over the world. My book, thank you for showing the cover, Dorota. A link to my online courses that will be beginning in early 2024, and also how to subscribe to the notification list to receive emails about updates about events, news, and other things. Now, enough shameless self-promotion, and I begin by talking first about the unique qualities in photos that make them such great tools to use for helping people. And now I will answer those original questions to prompt me how to write this today. How do photos help in communicating people's thoughts, feelings, and memories? Why is this important in coaching? What should coaches learn about practice differences between the techniques of therapy and those of coaching? And then she told me I have 15 minutes to do this, so now I'm going to try to meet that goal. Every photograph you take or respond to is in some ways also a self-portrait, reflecting back to you what and who has mattered so much in your life that you tried to pause time to capture it. Acting like mirrors with memory, your photos serve as footprints of your life, leaving traces behind not only where you have been, but often also showing you where you might next be going, even if you don't realize this yet yourself. This is what makes my phototherapy techniques and coaches' adaptations of these such a perfect way of helping people explore options in their personal and professional lives, especially while taking new photos on assignment from the various professionals trying to help them, who will then use their training to build the steps of this process toward a specific outcome goal that will help the person to be able to make desired life changes. Most people keep photographs around without ever pausing to really think about the reasons why. But because these permanently record daily moments and the associated feelings unconsciously embedded within them, personal and family snapshots can serve as natural bridges for accessing, exploring, and communicating about feelings and memories, including deeply buried, long forgotten ones, which can be very useful when trying to help a person learn more about themselves, not only in the past, but also, and particularly relevant for coaches, about options and goals for their future, so that they can make the changes to improve their personal and/or work situations' well-being. Based on these concepts, therapists trained in phototherapy techniques or coaches using adaptations of these can help people learn more about themselves by exploring what their own personally meaningful snapshots and family photographs are about emotionally, in addition to what they are of visually. Such information is latent in all personal photos, but when it can be actively awakened and used to focus helpful dialogue that is being guided by a professional who is trained in knowing how to help people achieve desired goals, exciting discoveries usually emerge. Very simply, without their stories, photos have very little meaning. Any photo by itself, the visual details that a person looks at on the surface of the photo, pays attention to, what the photo is of, are not the same as the story of what those details are about. Because each photo needs a storyteller to connect the visual details into its meaning as part of their own unconscious process while perceiving it. And yet each storyteller will always tell a different story of the same photo, each from their own unique personal filters for understanding the meaning of what they are seeing, that they themselves are actually unconsciously creating during the process of interacting with, of perceiving it, for making sense out of it. This can even happen when a person tells a story of the photo one time and then sees it again. Almost never will it be the same story as the first time it was told. There's power in all of this, because since each person's own story about a particular photograph's meaning is never going to be the same story that someone else, not even your coach or therapist, sees in that same photo. There can never be a wrong answer to a question about a photo. This strongly supports the client in realizing that their own answer is always correct for them at that moment in time, and can therefore be a very powerful key for unlocking the door to improving their life or work situation. And this is one of the key reasons that photos can be used so successfully when trying to help someone wanting to make positive changes in their life. This is especially important at coaching practices because these adaptations by coaches gives them additional ways to help their clients move forward in their lives in ways that just talking cannot do. During phototherapy sessions, photos are not just passively reflected on in silent contemplation, but also actively created, posed for, talked with, listened to, reconstructed, revised to form new or illustrate new narratives, collected on assignment from photos they find, revisualized in memory or imagination, even integrated into art expressions or set into animated dialogues, one with another photo. The interrelated phototherapy techniques include uses of photos that are taken or collected by the client, photos of them taken by other people, both posed and spontaneously taken, photos of them created by themselves, used to be called self-portraits, can also be called selfies, which are much more spontaneous, and family photographs, whether of the client's birth family or their family of choice. The last technique involved in all this is the concept of photo projectives, which is underlying all of the other photos and the way they convey meaning. Similar interactions with these different kinds of photos can be used in coaching practices as long as that coach realizes that these techniques are for using photos and photo interactions intentionally as part of pre-planned activation tools. They're not just prompts to get the person talking when the session is too quiet. What I mean by this is that even if you do already fully know how to use each technique properly, you don't use them in a session until you already have in mind the intention you have planned for that session. What is your outcome goal for that session? What are you using these techniques, photo-based techniques, to accomplish? As well as what kind of goal you hope they will help you accomplish with this particular client before the session has finished. It is also important to remember that these techniques do not operate as a closed, fixed model of separate techniques with rules about how to do it right or in what particular order, but rather as a set of very interrelated and flexible tools that can be combined one with another, with which to construct a process tailored to each person's individual needs and goals. I like to use the example that giving a person a pencil to draw what they feel like drawing is not the same as telling them what to draw. Also, very important for both therapists and coaches to remember is that phototherapy techniques and coaches' adaptations of these are about photography as personal communication rather than photography as art. And therefore, there is no need for the helpers nor their clients to have had any prior experience with using cameras, photographic technology, nor the photographic arts to reach the desired goals. Now, about some of the differences between therapy and coaching. Mental health professionals, such as psychologists, psychiatrists, art therapists, family counselors, and so forth, not only focus on helping people solve their problems, but also on helping them better understand how those problems might have been caused. So therapists and counselors will usually begin by deeply exploring the client's past background, often during the first several sessions, exploring the past since birth or occasionally even going back further into patterns of behaviors, beliefs, events, and other factors in previous generations that may have affected how their own parents raised them until adulthood. It is my understanding that most coaching sessions are more focused on the now of their clients' lives and how they can constructively move forward and into the future by learning and being guided by their coach in making desired changes rather than spending a lot of time figuring out how and why they're having the problem. Since the past cannot be changed, only our attitude toward it can be changed, it seems to me that coaches help people explore how to change themselves from the inside, from believing that I can't do what I want, into I could do what I want, but I need you to help me find better ways for making this change possible. But I'll be the first person to say I'm not a coach, and I'm certainly not qualified to define these responsibilities and actions. And therefore, I now recommend to you that you ask our host, Dorota, about this, because ask us about this later, because she is definitely qualified to do this. So I hope by now that this presentation, although brief, has made it clear that any photograph is just a beginning to open the door to a longer story and its related feelings and memories as people explore what is happening below the surface of a photograph, and that the why of each photo, what it means to each viewer, is much more important to explore than its what when discussing it. In conclusion, I hope that you now have a better picture of how phototherapy techniques can be easily adapted for use in coaching practices to make active use of the secret lives of ordinary personal snapshots and family photographs as active agents of change, exploration, reflection, empowerment, and healing. I now want to close this presentation with some important reminders. First, these techniques can be used with any kind of photographic imagery, both paper and digital, both still and moving, and therefore they can be easily adapted in related applications such as coaching and other photo-based helping techniques that use any kind of digital or mobile phone photos or scanned photos or virtual family albums as easily as we did in the first years using only photos printed from negatives onto paper. as well as looking into the future, they can still be used with newer technologies yet to be invented, as long as people remember what a photo is about, what it's of, and how to connect the two. And most important for my role in continuing to develop phototherapy techniques for close to 50 years now, is that during all of these years of work, teaching, authoring, and consulting about these techniques all over the world, none of these has ever had to be modified, changed, or even updated, simply because they are so flexible, open-ended, and easily adaptable to all kinds of different applications, such as coaching and any kind of image-based digital representation of what a photograph is. This includes newer models and approaches that have appeared in more recent decades, not only in coaching theory and techniques, but all kinds of new theoretical models in therapy. They still work with them because they're tools, not a kind of therapy, but tools to activate it. The point I want to emphasize today is that since these techniques are about exploring the emotional contents of photographic images, what I like to call the heart part of photos, rather than their art part, to help people improve their lives. It just doesn't matter at all which kind of technology created them. And therefore, they are not ever going to be outdated in the midst or future of our current digital age. Thank you very much for this opportunity to share my knowledge with you today. And I want to deeply thank my colleague and dear friend also, Dorota Raniszewska, for asking me to give this presentation at such a very important event. Thank you very much for listening, and I will return you now to Dorota.
Thank you, Judy. I would like to invite the next speaker now. Photos help people reflect what Judy just explained so beautifully. They help people to reflect about what matters or what doesn't matter and connect to it. And I'd like to introduce Rachel Silverstone. Rachel, based in Switzerland, is an artist, photographer. And she will present the project Sans Sortir, when she was able to reconnect people in her village thanks to photography. Being an artist, not a coach, Rachel is contributing to this symposium by making a strong point about human aspect of photography, as well as its emotional and social aspects. I hope that her art, presented in a short presentation, will take us to coaching during the next presentations. As Rachel is now flying back from Mexico to Europe and she was not able to join us, she sent me a recording of her presentation, so I will now share the recording. She shall join us a bit later if she can only be on time. So let me now share.
Hello. I'm very excited to participate in the symposium on photography and coaching. My name is Rachel Silverstone, and I'm a freelance photographer living in Switzerland. I would like to talk to you about a photographic project I completed in May 2020. The goal was to raise funds for the university hospital at the beginning of the COVID lockdown, when hospitals, and particularly their staff, were overwhelmed. In March 2020, as you might remember, normal life came abruptly to a halt. So social distancing was encouraged and even enforced. My photography business went on hold. I felt isolated and useless. I began looking for ways to volunteer in my community to make sense about what was happening worldwide. While roaming the internet, I read about the Front Steps photography project that was started by 2 female photographers in Boston, USA, in mid-March 2020. The organizers wanted to find a way to unite their community. They decided to donate their time to raise funds by taking family portraits of people outdoors on their front steps. And they raised money to donate to their local food pantry. I contacted them to see if I could use their idea. They were overjoyed at the thought of their project going overseas. So I adapted their concept. We have no front steps here in Switzerland. We just walk right out the door. So I photographed families in front of their house or on their balconies. 2 months later, and with a fair amount of effort, I had photographed 65 families, couples, or individuals. The photographs were displayed on a specially created Facebook page, and each participant was encouraged to leave a personal quote. I asked people to make a donation to the Lausanne University Hospital Special COVID Fund in exchange for receiving a digital file of their portrait. The portraits were taken in my small village, Ponta, which has about 1,900 inhabitants. Keeping it local and on a small scale meant I was able to walk around the village with my camera, meeting people and asking them to pose. The donations amounted to 5,495 Swiss francs. I had achieved my goal of raising funds, and I could have stopped there. But what if this group of photographs could become something more? I saw the opportunity to bring together my community and was touched by this outpouring of village solidarity. I approached the Cultural Commission of Ponta and asked them if they would help organize a photo exhibition of all the participants. Instead of being a typical indoor gallery situation, I suggested that the photographs be enlarged to 90 centimeters wide and 1 meter 56 centimeters long. They were large pictures. They were hung outside in the village center where people could walk freely and observe them. My village became a huge outdoor gallery, and every day people came to take a tour, discover friends, meet their neighbors. Symbolically, I wanted to underline the fact that confinement time was over. We were no longer forced to remain inside, and life was resuming outside of our homes. It was a beautiful event, simple but powerful. This project brought people together. They rediscovered each other, made new acquaintances. The photographs stayed on the wall for 3 months. When they were finally taken down, the village felt empty. By initiating this project, I was able to contribute to society using photography to create a visual dialogue to honor and help reconnect villagers. I could engage with people while I photographed them and still keep my distance. I used creativity as a relief and finding people to photograph as a tool to lift the weight and worries of COVID off my mind. By finding a purpose in giving to others, I felt deeply connected to myself, but also to those I photographed by helping them be seen and stand up for their community and those in need beyond. Here's a slide where you can see a few quotes from the people who participated in the project. The title of the project, S'en sortir, has a double meaning in French. It can mean getting by or to get by, or phonetically pronounced, it can mean without going out. Thank you so much for listening.
And I wanted to invite you now to the presentation of Antoinette Bielmeyer, who is going to talk about the deeper sense and purpose and really connecting to the South. So Antoinette Bielmeyer, based in Singapore, Thank you for joining. I know it's very late for you, and it's going to be even more late when we will be finishing. So, Antoinette is a holistic health professional, coach, and focusing trainer. And she will present how she combines focusing process with the most important photo concept that you heard already about in the beginning from photography coaching. Antoinette, I will now share your slides. I hope it's going to work.
That sounds great. Well, thank you very much, Dorota, and welcome everyone for being here. I'm super excited. And so, Dorota, if you're ready, we can start.
Yes, I'm opening your slides, and I will now make my best to share them for you and for us. Voila. Just if you can confirm that you can see them.
Yes, I can.
Wonderful. The stage is yours, Antoinette.
Thank you. Now I just need to do one thing. Oops. There we go. All right. So, did you know that 90% of the information the brain processes is visual? That it requires only 13 milliseconds to process an image, and that the brain processes images 60,000 times faster than text. And people remember 65% of what they see compared to only 10% of what they hear. So it's no wonder that photographs have become an important tool in coaching and therapy. And of course, you also heard Judy Weiser to talk about it. And so I'd like to now share how it came to photography and focusing. Hi, my name is Antoinette. I'm a holistic health professional, coach, and focusing trainer. I help clients integrate formative experiences so they understand themselves better, enjoy meaningful relationships, and live a more authentic and fulfilling life. So in 2021, I participated in Dorota's photography and coaching training. And when she invited us to bring our most important photograph to one of the sessions, I wasn't prepared for the intensity of feelings that aroused when I sat with some of the coaching questions she offered. Nor did I expect the answers that came, and I left with the question, wow, if there are so many revelations using photographs with coaching, what would it be like to use it then with focusing? And then this year, as part of my certification to become an inner relationship focusing trainer, we had to plan and deliver a focusing project. And I immediately knew I wanted to explore the combination of focusing and photography, and that's how photography and focusing was born. Now, many of you will probably wonder, what is focusing? And focusing is a mind-body process developed by the philosopher and psychologist Eugen Gendlin in the 1960s. Gendlin, who studied with Carl Rogers, found out that the success of therapy could already be determined in the first or second session. And that was mind-blowing because, contrary to what we would expect, the deciding factor wasn't the rapport or the skills of the therapist, but how the client would get in touch with their felt sense of the topic and how they accessed and stayed with what was emerging rather than rehashing what they already knew. The key element in focusing is the ability to stay with what we call the felt sense. Now, what is that? The felt sense is a subtle bodily experience that describes the totality of feelings sensations, memories, images, and thoughts related to a topic. And it's often hard to put into words because it's fuzzy, it's unclear, and yet it's such a rich source of insights and information about what is going on within. So the purpose of the project was to find out what kind of new insights participants would gain from exploring their most important photograph using focusing. And these sessions with these participants, they were about an hour long. In the first 15 minutes, I would ask some questions to help start the conversation, to create rapport, to connect participants with the photograph and their feelings about it. And once we found the starting place, based on what emerged in the conversation, we continued with the focusing session, which generally starts by tuning inward into the body, starting with the throat, the chest, the stomach area, and the belly. And then inviting a felt sense about the starting point to form, welcoming what comes without judgment, and then staying with and turning towards what has not yet been expressed in words. And then at the end of the session, I asked each participant to fill in a post-session questionnaire to answer questions such as, when you look at your photo now, what stands out that you weren't aware of at the beginning? How can you take these insights forward in your life? What might be different now? And my favorite question was really, what title would you give the photo now? Because for me, it was clear that if there is a new title, it's most likely because there have been new insights and a shift that has been happening in the session. And even though I know about the power of photographs and the potential synergy of combining focusing with photography, I was often humbled and in awe as these sessions unfolded. I had done many focusing sessions with clients, and even though these sessions were rich and deep, the combination of focusing and these most important photographs was a different experience altogether. I was gifted with a deep glimpse into other people's souls, the richness of their unconscious world around the photo, its meaning for them, their unexpressed needs, wants, their fears, longings, and dreams. And the word that described these experiences best was and still is sacredness. These photographs were a silent witness of crucial moments in people's life. They created a bridge between the known and the unknown, the touched and untouched places within, and they were like a doorway inviting the focuser to sense into important yet unexplored areas of their inner landscape. And the focusing process was therefore an invitation to sense into, be with, and acknowledge the unexpressed and unacknowledged parts that long to be seen, heard, and embraced, so that the process of becoming could continue. So Dorota will now share with you some of these important photographs that participants worked with. And I invite you to take some time to let these images speak to you. And as you are feeling into these images, let me share some reflections of participants. I think what stands out for me following the session is the depth of meaning that underlies the image. I was not aware of the layers of felt experience under the surface of the image. The photo became a portal into so much more than what I had felt already before. And the invitation to be with the photo in a felt sensing way created the door in that portal, similar to the quote, "When you feel the body from the inside, there is a door." Spending time with the photograph helped me to be with a richer sense of its meaning. I knew that I appreciated the sense of relationship embodied in the photograph, but now I see that it is also an outward manifestation of my inner world. There is a longing in the photo of which I was unaware. In these sessions, participants developed a profound appreciation for the photograph's richness and their own inner landscape, needs, longings, and desire. In that process, they could sense the next steps to take in life. I thought it could be great to have a short focusing experience together with one of the photographs, and as and when it feels more comfortable for you to close your eyes in the process, feel free to do so. Once you have taken some time to sit with the photo that Dorota will now share. I'm inviting you to take some time now to be with this photo. Receive it fully. And see if you can notice what happens within. How does your body respond? You might notice something there in the area of your throat, chest, stomach, or belly. Maybe a feeling or a sensation or a combination of it. And you might be sensing something in you that feels a certain way. Perhaps acknowledging its presence by saying something like, "Hello, I know you're here." And see if you can let it be just as it is. And maybe you can be curious as to what is going on for this part that feels the way it does. Maybe sensing whether there's something else it would like to share. Perhaps becoming aware of what else might be here right now for you. And as we're slowly coming to an end, maybe you want to sense what you'd like to take away from this short experience. If it feels right, begin to notice your whole body, what you're sitting on, and then gently open your eyes if you have closed them in the process, coming back into the here and now. Thank you for following along, and of course I'm curious how it was for you. But my time is now coming to an end here, and so I invite you to share at the end of this event what you experienced, if that feels right to you. So, photographs and photography are an invitation to reveal our worldless expression of self. Add to that focusing as another artful invitation to meet and accept yourself with all the lights and the shadows. You have a powerful combination for people to tap into their inner wisdom, experience self-compassion, and open up to self-love. Thank you.
Thank you, Antoinette. I encourage all of you to write in the chat, and I'm seeing already some comments for you, Antoinette, and for us. So in the meantime, we're going to have a look at them. And yes, often people look at coaching as focused on quick fixes, but it is also transformational, really. And it helps people to follow their paths towards happy, balanced life, self-love, to connect to what really matters. And let's listen to Bridget about some transformations. Bridget Austin, based in UK, is a professional 7C level coach and HR professional. And she will present how various photography and coaching interventions that she adapted helped people in the post-cancer treatment to reconnect to themselves, the world, and the others. So now I would like to invite you, Bridget, to take over.
Thank you, Dorota. I'm delighted to have been given the opportunity by Dorota to talk to you today about how I've used some of the photography and coaching approaches after completing my training with her in February 2022. The Connect program uses photography and coaching to assist cancer patients to reconnect with themselves, others, and the wider world after cancer treatment. The program offers time away to join a small group of other people who are sharing a similar cancer experience. It has been shaped and come together as a result of the curiosity, vision and passion of a number of individuals providing services at a cancer treatment centre near where I live. They put their faith in me, giving me the joyful and rewarding experience, combining my passions of coaching, photography, walking and personal growth to help and make a difference to others. This presentation shares the Connect journey of some of the ladies who have attended. And during the presentation, to bring things to life, we will share some of the photographs and reflections of the ladies I worked with. But to protect confidentiality, I will refer to them by name, but use different names to their birth names. What we do together during our Connect journey very much resonates with a quote from Michelle Maris. And you can see that there. Meaningful connection is formed when we bravely share our truth. And we consider this quote as a group right at the very start of our journey together. The need for personal connection post-cancer treatment has inspired everyone to attend. Sharing the physical and emotional experiences from recent and ongoing cancer recovery treatment takes strength and courage. Here you see a photo of the quote illustrated in her journal by Amelia, and she starts her Connect journal with it and has taken time to mindfully decorate around it with her own drawings. Research has shown that when individuals are touched by cancer, have a circle of support and attend to their spiritual and mental health needs, their quality of life and their recovery is enhanced. And in the photo, you see the circle of support formed on one of our longer photo walks. The ladies seen here joined the programme at different points in their treatment journey. One had just completed their main treatment, others had finished a while ago. Some had continued working whilst being treated, others hadn't, and one had to give up a vocation that they loved. All of them had lost confidence in themselves and their bodies, and they hadn't had the opportunity to talk to fellow sufferers about their experience, as they'd been using all their energy to fight the illness. Making the decision to attend the programme hadn't necessarily been easy for people, and it had taken individual courage to show up after living with the deep trauma of cancer treatments. Amelia shared that she was moving on with life after surgery, starting a master's degree, throwing herself into her allotments, getting herself a toy poodle. She was struggling with the shock of everything, from diagnosis to recovery. Audrey reflected that when she finished her active treatment at the hospital, she felt a little lost. The treatment had dominated the last 6 months of my life. So let me tell you a little more now about the journey that took us from those initial emotions through to a place of strength, the circle of support that you saw before. And we used some of my photo postcards to get to know each other initially. Everyone was able to select their favourites very quickly. The chat was animated and strong as people spoke to each other about the cards that captured their imaginations and reconnected them with positive memories and experiences. Alice, in a moment you'll see, selected the first picture on the slide of a beautiful lake, and she told us about having family picnics and going boating. A lot of the photos she subsequently took during the programme involved being by or travelling over water. Catherine chose a gentle waterfall and the wildflower meadow. It reminded her of walks in nature and enjoying listening to birdsong. She shared how her dad and herself had gone walking together when she was a child. Her dad had taught her the sound of different bird songs. And Catherine told us how much she still loved seeing and listening to birds now. Audrey loved the close-up detail of the chestnut and the autumn colours, the warmth of the brown shades. She reflected on the sound of leaves crunching. The detail of the photo reminded her of the type of photos her husband loved to take. It made her think of autumn walks with her dog. And then finally, Yvette shows a photograph of the kitchen in Ston Castle in the UK. It reminded her of her kitchen at home. The cosy pine furniture, her love of her hobby of making and decorating dolls' houses. The first session was a coming together, and Yvette said she felt truly spoiled. She said that she was skipping after the session as it brought her so much joy. For the previous 6 months, she had only left home to attend for treatments. Audrey fed back that the course was all I could hope for. Gentle introductions with space to share our stories. The chance to share my experiences with others made me realise how much I needed to connect with people in a similar current experience. Everyone was encouraged to go on a daily photo walk in between sessions, print out photos taken and reflect in a journal about the most important ones. And these photos were joyfully shared when we got back together. They were linked to new memories, feelings of connection, well-being, family, fun and peace. So let me tell you a little more about those photos that they took on their personal photo walks. In a moment you'll see that Fex was drawn to the beauty and bright colours of the spring flowers and the joy of looking forward to being out in her garden again. And you can see the purple crocus and the yellow daffodil. Audrey was drawn to the details on the dog walks, the inner world of the snail between the pits of the old garden wall on one of her routes, the faded sunflower scarecrow that made her smile, but also helped her capture how she felt at that moment in time. Catherine shared the experience of dressing up in pink and the emotion of taking part in the breast cancer fundraising event Race for Life with her daughter. It was her way of giving something back, but also showing how far she had come. Journaling about the thoughts and emotions generated by the photos was key, and you can see some of the photos and journal reflections from Amelia in the lower half of the photo slide. The joy of reconnecting with spring, writing, putting out past photos, and taking close-ups of flowers, and putting everything into an arrangement in her journal that brought her pleasure, was part of Amelia reconnecting with her creativity after being ill with cancer. In the final session, we took a longer walk to a nearby urban park, and before and during the walk, everyone was asked to develop a personal objective of reconnecting with a childhood pastime, a way of being, or taking up something new that they felt they would enjoy. Reconnecting with a childhood sense of fun, wonder, walking in nature, silliness, self-care, writing and reading stories, calmness and peace, all features. And the slides that follow show a selection of the final photos the ladies took on the walk. Each person was then given time during the session to use the reflections from their photo to express creatively how they wanted to take forward their personal objective of connecting to themselves. The slide will also show the individual photo poem or personal reflection the photo generated. Catherine, you can see the photo she took of the buttercups, and that helps her capture her objective of reconnecting to her childhood sense of fun and imagination. I am running through the grass, picking up the buttercups, feeling the time pass. Do I like butter? That is the question, bringing back my childhood memories. And after writing this photo poem, Catherine shared that a few days later, she had a fabulous water fight in the garden with her great-nephew and his dog. Amelia took a photo of an old and gnarled tree trunk she spotted in the park. She found her imagination starting to surface again, and her ability to write creatively for herself was coming through. I am wondering what secret is hiding behind the darkened window. Push aside the fairy frost and step through the doorway. Start the journey of life's big adventure. And adding to her photo, you can see how Amelia has put out white flowers that look like sparkling fairy frost and placed them around the tree trunk. Yvette had some initial misgivings about the photo poem process. She said, when Bridget asked us to go for a walk and take pictures of things that meant something to us, it was quite hard to do. I felt at the time I wasn't going to find anything to take a picture of. Then I turned and looked at the centre, and I just knew that was my picture. I now volunteer at the centre, and I've started a new group for other cancer patients to meet up and relax. The group now meet monthly at the centre and also have an active WhatsApp group, and everyone champions and supports each other in the peer group. I'll now share some summary insights and conclusions from the programme, and we'll touch on each of the quotes on the next slide in turn to help bring this to life. Taking photos in a mindful and reflective way has allowed people to step back and take time for themselves. It has led them to consider how they want to manage their boundaries with other people. Also to consider how to deal with expectations from work, family and themselves going forward, so that they can continue to access me time to support rest, reflection and mindfulness. Amelia said I needed some help to get past what had happened. The program helps me to look outside of myself and focus on the small things that bring joy. It made me think about what I want from life. I spoke to my boss about what I do and don't want to do moving forwards. I am no longer afraid to focus on my own thoughts. People learn more about how to take photos with their camera, which increased their confidence. They reconnected with their creativity, which led them further to reconnect with hobbies they had not done for a while. Confidence was also increased by going out of the house again, meeting new friends who have now become new people who have now become friends. Catherine said, the program brought me out for myself, made me look at life in a different way, and I have freed my love of nature, drawing, and hopefully singing. I have found some gorgeous new friends. It has made such a difference to my life after cancer. Having a photo task gave a sense of purpose and focus. It helped people regain confidence in their physical walks, which in turn helped their physical recovery. They were noticing the world around them more, and they identified they felt more connected and were excited to be exploring new walking routes never taken before. Audrey said that photography was a great way to bond the group, sharing our perspectives on the world, which I have found myself using on my morning walks. Humour and joy buoyed people up as we enjoyed hearing about each other's stories and seeing each other's photos. Photos had helped personal discovery. They'd helped make sense of things and allowed people to move on. The final insight that I want to share with you about the Connect programme and the photography and coaching approach used in it is from a vet. Her words make me emotional as I read them out to you. And for me, it sums up the power of using photography in coaching to help support recovery from cancer. Yvette said, taking pictures and talking about them helped me forget about my cancer. I could just relax and be me again. Thank you for your time and attention. I feel very lucky to have shared this journey with everyone. Hearing the bravery, seeing the vulnerability, courage, humour and reconnection of the ladies who attended the programme, it's truly been one of the most humbling and inspirational experiences I have had. And I know Dorota has my contact details and we can share those if you'd like to get in touch or find out more after the symposium. Thank you.
Thank you, Bridget. Well, what you have just seen was how Bridget adapted ideas from photography and coaching in the context of post-cancer support and healing. One could think it's about therapy, but well, let's change words that shape our thinking and the definitions we stick to. How about simply talking about an intervention that helps to envision a new life or discover new perspectives after a significant life change? It's possible to adapt the photography and coaching in various contexts and multiple well-being interventions. And now let's listen to Ivona, who uses photography and coaching universal personal growth perspective from universal personal growth perspective in the Close-Up project. Ivona Spagnoli. She's based in Belgium. She's a professional, accredited ICF coach and the HR manager and licensed close-up facilitator. And she will present a project called Close-Up and how personal growth interventions designed in the coaching style and combined with photography can enable creativity and deeper reflection. So, Ivona, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Dorota. Welcome, everyone. My name is Ivona Spagnoli, and as Dorota already mentioned, I'm a personal development coach, passionate about using photography and metaphors as a means of self-discovery. And that passion directed me to Dorota, as I wanted to and did attend her training on photography in coaching. But prior to that, in the autumn of 2021, I participated in the unique personal development project created by Dorota, and that was the Close-Up project. It was a program that combined things that I love: self-development, photography, and nature. And there I experienced the power of photography on myself. And that unforgettable experience made me realize my dream of spreading this project around. And that's how I stepped on the path to become, in January this year, the first licensed facilitator of the Close-Up project. And here, once again, I would like to thank Dorota for mentoring me on that journey. And today, as already mentioned, no surprise, I would like to share my case study of photography in coaching based on the Close-Up project, which is all about the unveiling the self, expanding horizons, and igniting creativity. In the next slide, I will explain the main concept and approach used in the Close-Up project. So the Close-Up project is an 8-week-long personal development project that combines coaching reflection, facilitated by coaching questions, with active photography. The project is focused on the exploration of personality via the prism of character strengths. Therefore, it uses the VIA character strengths methodology and the VIA assessment tool, the VIA survey, both developed by the VIA Institute on Character, a non-profit organization that specializes in the field of positive psychology. The VIA system identifies 24 character strengths that everyone possesses, grouped into 6 core virtues: courage, wisdom, humanity, justice, temperance, and transcendence. And each week of the Close-Up project is dedicated to exploring one of them. It happens through coaching reflection, as participants receive upfront guided material for self-reflection, for contemplation, and photography assignments. After each week of exploration, we gather online in a project meeting where we share personal insights and discuss individual photo projects. And all these components of the Close-Up project are deliberately designed to create an experience that enables participants to accomplish following objectives: to unlock creativity, increase self-awareness of personality and character strengths, gain new perspective, build self-confidence, and enhance well-being. So I explained the concepts of the Close-Up project, the objectives, the approach, and now I'll demonstrate the role of photography, and I will show you 3 slides with examples of the work done by the clients during the project. So here we have a photo taken by Magda during the week dedicated to courage. Magda's reflection was, because everything that you need, you already have inside you. And that shows how the clients become aware of inner resources within themselves to make the changes they desire. This awareness is achieved through guided self-reflection and the use of photography, which brings additional insights. In the context of the Close-Up project, taking photographs becomes a transformative tool for self-discovery. And this slide is an example from the week when we focused on ferns. On the left, you see photo in nature taken by Renata while she was exploring what fairness meant to her. It made her think about listening to her inner voice, about honesty, accepting her fear, and becoming more aware of various parts of her being. This is an example that shows how the act of taking photographs encourages people to think out of the box, delve deeper, and expand their horizons. It's interesting that this specific photograph inspired Renata to create a piece of jewelry, which you can see captured in the photos on the right. You can see the most right photo, and this is the reverse side of the pendant, and it shows the moonlit reflection in water, the same pattern as in the photo on the left. And to me, as a coach, this demonstrates how the photography process, as a creative way of looking for answers, influenced Renata's creativity to the extent that she handcrafted an artistic item. The entire process, so coaching reflection, taking a photo, contemplating it, and creating the pendant, was an expression of her strengths of creativity, fairness, and honesty. And here, I'd like to present the third example from the week dedicated to harmony. In this photo, you see a series of self-portraits taken by Anna. These self-portraits were captured while Anna contemplated what makes her feel balanced and relaxed, and how she can bring more of it into her life. This is an example of how creating self-portraits allow people to discover, affirm, and strengthen what they desire within themselves. As a coach, I find self-portraits created in the context of coaching topics to be a very powerful tool, as it allows the clients to show up in the way they want to appear, and in consequence, that has positive impacts on their self-acceptance, motivation, and willingness to change. So in the three examples that I presented, you saw photos that participants took in relation to abstract topics such as values and character traits. And now it's worth answering the question of what photography in combination with coaching reflection can bring. And here, I would like to quote my clients. The depth of the message conveyed by my photos left me amazed. Thanks to the project, I rediscovered forgotten creativity and regained the lightness of writing. What I created brought joy not only to me, but also to other participants. With each topic, my perception of the world brightened, and my confidence in knowing what I want and don't want grew. The project allowed me to slow down, think about my needs, and cherish the wonderful moments of connection that often get lost in the daily rush. It's an opportunity to use photography to seek answers and find surprises. It was surprising that photos can tell so much about the person. Wandering in the project was about discovering different things in myself, confronting the past with the present, reflecting and maybe finding hope. Our character strengths walk alongside us, just waiting to be utilized. The task of taking a photo on a defined topic made me think deeper. I expressed myself and got to know myself better. The close-up project was a time just for myself, and the tasks for the next meeting invited me to think. The project has shown me that by asking specific questions, my thoughts are deeper, richer, and easier. And after sharing these examples and these testimonials, I would like to summarize. I will start with the list of the benefits of using photography in coaching and personal development projects. You can go to the previous slide, Dorota. So here I would mention as the benefits, deeper self-awareness, easier and richer self-expression, broader perspective, awakened creativity, and increased free self-esteem, self-worth, and self-confidence. And this is aligned with the objectives of the close-up project that I showed in the beginning of my presentation. And to conclude, I'd like to say that incorporating active photography into personal growth makes the client look for a deeper, more profound reflection. In traditional coaching, reflection is triggered by questions. And here, photography creates additional opportunities, taking the person beyond the cognitive level. Photography enables creativity within us that is often forgotten in our daily routine. When people become more creative during coaching and in personal development programs, like it happens during the close-up project, then they see new ideas and new solutions. They discover a new, better perspective of their potential and personality. International Coaching Federation defines coaching as partnering with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. And that's exactly what photography in the coaching setting does. It is thought-provoking, it is creative, and it inspires. Thank you for your attention. And here you see, you can connect with me afterwards. Dorota has all the details, so you will get it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Ivana. Okay, so we talked about personality strengths and developing personality, deepening the understanding and the resources in a unique and original way, not only by talking, but a lot about creating around it. And now let's listen to Lars Neumann, who will show how photography can be a way to help clients not only discover and appreciate their personalities, but build business and executive brands. That's his specialty. So Lars Neumann is a business and life coach. He's also a professional photographer based in Dresden, Germany. He will soon become a director of the newly created Institute of Sustainable Successful Use of Images in Steinbeis Plus Academy in Germany. He will present about portrait photography used to understand one's personality, activate resources, and translate them into branding, marketing, and sales ideas. Lars, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Dorota. Can you hear me? Yes.
Yes.
I think so. So I jump right into and let me ask you this important question. Even when seemingly impossible, what is the root of long-lasting success and fulfillment in the corporate world? And just show the first picture, perhaps.
Yes, I'm almost there.
Personality photography, a simple and effective approach to coaching and in the development of individuals and their business that engages intuition, mind, and body. So I'm also thrilled to have the opportunity of standing before you today to share my experiences and insights into the strong impact of photography in coaching. Throughout my career, I've witnessed the profound transformations that can occur when the world of coaching is combined with the world of photography. So after 34 professional years and thousands of clients, I now know that long-lasting success and fulfillment in the corporate worlds roots deeply in developing one's personality. Personality photography provides coaches and photographers with a simple but powerful process of business development through personal development, a process that combines brand and executive coaching with photography, and that leads to defining directions for brand, sales, and future business development. So, allow me to take you on a journey of discovery through a real-life case study featuring Kira. Her story showcases the possibilities that emerge when photography and coaching become integrated. Our relationship started at the time when Kira changed her life on multiple levels, including a new kind of private partnership, moving from Berlin to Dresden, worlds apart, and starting her own coaching business after being an employee for 25 years. When Kira initially approached me for business photos, little did we know that her request would unfold into a 6-month project revealing the depth of her personal and professional growth. Yet we quickly realized that preconceived and inauthentic photos would hinder her success in positioning, branding, marketing, and connecting with clients, of course. Taking business photos raises questions almost automatically. So questions like what, where, who, how, and of course, why. So our process began with deep listening and gaining insights into Kira's true essence. We explored her goals, desires, and needs, more and more uncovering the core of her being. Through attentive listening and intuition, a vivid inner picture of Kira started to take shape, inspiring creative ideas in my mind. As our conversation progressed, we discovered that Kira's coaching aspirations extended beyond traditional coaching office spaces. Obviously, she loved being connected with nature, and together we came across the idea of a certain picturesque valley adorned with cultural symbols and serene white wooden bridges over a lively creek. This beautiful setting resonated deeply with Kira. You can just stop sharing?
Yes.
And then we come to the pictures. Thank you. So, yeah, this was a setting that resonated deeply with Kira, providing an environment where she could authentically express herself. But it was during the discussion of a red yacht that the excitement in the room reached its peak. Kira's charisma became stronger as she shared her profound love for this special place, a sanctuary she cherished. The vision of a red yacht that, with its intimate fireplace, perfectly aligned with her desire for offering services of personal growth through connecting her clients' personas with their bodily and sexual core. It was a special moment of synchronicity where my intuitive vision of a red tent with an open fire inside seamlessly merged with the surprising fact that a red yacht with a fire is actually in Kira's possession. Now we can have the picture again.
This one?
Oh. To capture the essence of Kira's multifaceted coaching practice, we embarked on 3 distinct photo shoots. The first took place in a coaching office, showcasing her professionalism and expertise that you can see here. The second unfolded following the idea in the unique Seifersdorfer Tal Valley, symbolizing connection with nature, evoking the feeling of a beautiful mind that is part of nature, and nature is its part too. Yes, and finally, we captured Kira's essence within the intimate setting of the Red Yurt, alongside her partner, depicting the transformative power that of their wordless shared energy. And following these photo shoots, reflection was an integral part of our process. Kira's exploration of the captured images unveiled profound insights and further clarity about her coaching realm. We discovered that these 3 photographic motifs illustrated her 3 distinct working worlds, and also the connections between them, sparking new ideas for product development and providing a solid foundation for effective marketing and authentic storytelling, all keys to an actual success in sales. In conclusion, Kira's journey exemplifies the tremendous potential that lies in combining photography and coaching. Through this process, she not only discovered her true potential, but also developed a unique brand that cultivates trust and connections with her target audience. We're excited about the alignment between my vision of the red tent and Kira's actual possessions in life, which further underlines the transformative power of photography and coaching. Though powerful, the process behind this approach is simple. It's, as you can see, reflection, action, reflection. Let me have some words to every point. So first, reflection, exploring what is essential to the client, developing a metaphor that to make this essence visible using mind and intuition. Second, action, giving room for the client's bodily self-expression during photography, experiencing our ideas at real places with real people. And third, reflection, exploring the most essential photos, a term we heard today very often. You know it well now. The most essential photos in a gallery, not following right and wrong thinking, but following the client's physical effects. Reflecting on these most essential photos, that way raising consciousness about what's important to the client, about their resources, about what's possible for them with that. Leading to long-lasting business strategies that are rooted in the client's truth. The process translates to self-discovery, self-activation, and personal growth. With that comes a strengthening impact on the client's business, including the levels of positioning, branding, marketing, sales, and future development. And here's what Kira says. What I have received is a set of business photos as originally requested and far beyond, with a significance, essence, and energy that could never arise by photographing preconceived motifs. I got insights, realizations, and new perspectives. I could take concrete steps towards visibility, what I hadn't achieved until then and what represented the greatest obstacle to me. Now there's a deeper connection to my inner core than ever before, and I've been experiencing being seen and appreciated within it. I've had the opportunity to witness how I have grown beyond myself and leaped over several barriers, with every step being celebrated with me. As we reflect on Kira's story, we draw 3 key conclusions. The first key conclusion: authentic and truthful photography breeds success. Embracing the client's true self and communicating it through personality photography allows for powerful connections with the client, leading to greater success in coaching endeavors. Furthermore, because the body and is consciously involved, clients discover what is true for them and will remember their truths and strengths with every look at their photographs. Second conclusion, intuition and body as a guiding force. Integrating intuition and body into coaching opens doors to otherwise hidden realms within individuals, revealing their unique strengths, aspirations, and resources. Engaging visual work increases the quality and the alignment between the client's essence and coaching data. And the third conclusion, the transformative power of reflection on photographs. Engaging in reflective practices using photos empowers both coaches and clients to gain deep insights, refine their professional journeys, and create meaningful and lasting change. Lessons are learned, self-confidence is being rooted, next right moves are clearly to be seen, potentials in all fields of the client's business are activated and ready to be used in practice. This way, the client's business becomes more aligned with its purpose, more effective, and will bring forth a sense of freedom, satisfaction, and serenity within the client. So let's embrace the power of photography in coaching and embark on a journey of self-discovery, connection, and transformation. This way, creating a masterpiece of long-lasting success and fulfillment in the corporate world for yourself and for others. Thank you.
Thank you, Lars. Well, self-expression and authenticity are very important goals today for many people in that personal growth work. And both are related to well-being and happiness afterwards. So you have shown us a very brave example how that we could see how far that work can go. Each of us will works different way depending on what is the purpose, who is the client. But we can see how far we can go in terms of really crossing different borders and how creatively we can work when the client wants, and how changing that can be when we discover in ourselves parts that were forgotten or pushed away to this moment when we can really define ourselves and show ourselves in a unique way. Great, and this all leads to well-being and happiness. So let's listen to Mandy Seligman about happiness. I'm also very, very honored that you joined us, Mandy. Mandy Seligman is a fine art photographer and also a positive psychologist based in USA. And she develops the Happy Seeing Project and the platform to enable people around the globe to discover a more positive perspective on life and themselves. And I personally think that her project, the Seeing Happy Project, can be used by coaches and other professionals as a complementary assignment to life coaching programs. So Mandy, I will share slides for you, if you don't mind. And the stage is yours. Honored to have you here.
Well, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. Well, thank you, Dorota, for inviting me to talk. I feel a little humbled because I am not a therapist or coach. But what I am, well, for many, many, many years, I have been a positive psychologist My husband, Martin Seligman, began talking about well-being maybe 30 years ago when he was the president of the American Psychological Association. And in those 30 years, the science of well-being has really been well investigated. We now know how we can measure well-being. We know we have a theory of well-being, and we also have a lot of ideas about how to increase well-being. So there are many, many interventions that have been shown to increase a person's well-being. And we have, as I said, we have a theory of well-being. My husband's theory is called the PERMA model, P-E-R-M-A. It's positive emotions, engagement, and I think that Bridget earlier was talking about the VIA strengths. The engagement is very much about using your strengths in the world. It's a lot about relationships, connections, and how good relationships, good connections are really the basis of much of our happiness and well-being. It's about meaning. How do we see our lives mattering? You know, it's very important that every day we can get up and realize that we matter in the world. There's a huge promoter of well-being, and then accomplishment, of course. So for, as I say, 30 years, the science of well-being has come a long way. But at the same time, I was also a photographer, and that was just a side thing that I did. I just, I took photographs of my children. I have 5. It was something I enjoyed. It wasn't until COVID hit that I realized that my photography was something that really gave me a huge boost of joy, escapism. It gave me resilience. It helped me. It gave me optimism. Every single thing that positive psychology and well-being was about, really, I could get from going out, taking a break, and looking at photography, taking photographs of things that gave me joy, things that I was grateful for, things that were meaningful. And it wasn't very long before I realized that a lot of other people were doing this too. A lot of positive psychologists were taking up photography, and the idea occurred to me, let's start sharing, let's start inspiring people, let's start some kind of, well, originally it was just a Facebook page. Can we have a Facebook page in which we share things that make us happy, things that are good in the world? Where can we just turn the needle away from COVID and everything that we were dealing with? Can we just inspire a little bit of hope? The idea being that a little bit of hope can increase resilience. It can add a huge amount. It can start just like a spiral that will grow. The more hope, the more resilience, the better we're going to cope with everything that happens every day. So it started as a very small idea. But right from the beginning, we thought, well, let's just build in some of these interventions. We know, for instance, a lot of people have talked about reflections. We know reflections are really important. Let's build that in. Let's build in, well, we called it a portfolio. It's really a gratitude journal, a photographic gratitude journal. Yeah, can we have the next slide, please, Dorota? It's really a happiness journal for everybody to use, just to go back and look at what were the things that made us happy today, what happened yesterday, what was a month ago. And we also tried to just tease apart the things that, what were the elements of our happiness? So, for instance, noticing beauty in the world. We know from the work of Jay Clifton that noticing beauty, feeling like there's good in the world, this increases well-being. Connections. gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most important elements of psychological well-being. And that's always been very interesting to me, you know, that people, when they start expressing gratitude, depression goes down, anxiety goes down. Why is that? Well, my own theory is that people, you know, once you realize that you have gratitude towards other people, you realize that there are a lot of people in your corner, that you're not alone. You don't have to fight every battle on your own. And of course, hope, I think, is the basis of resilience and optimism. So I wanted to create this site that could just disentangle the pieces for ourselves and to inspire other people. Can we have the next slide, Dorota, please? But after a little while, I realized that there was more work to be done. So I joined up with the University of Pennsylvania, the MAP program, and we started talking about, well, can we take the elements that we know are important for well-being, and can we take the elements that we know photography is so good at? For instance, I mean, the analogies are obvious to all of you, I'm sure, but you know, lenses, what kind of lenses do we have? What kind of filters do we have? Where are we focusing? Are we looking at, you know, the leaves, or are we looking at the thorns? What's the frame? Who's in the frame? How big is, you know, the frame? How big is the subject in the frame? Can we use all of those elements to try in some way to help people see the world differently? So we called it Seeing Happy because, you know, the world is out there, but we know that the way that we perceive it is really important. And it can have, you know, it can have big influences on our emotional life and how we actually behave in the world, how our actions. And then that's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So my daughter, my eldest daughter, one day said to me, "Mom, I suddenly realized that not everybody loves me." And I said, yeah, well, that's, you know, true. But think about the difference between walking into a room thinking that people love you, they accept you, and thinking, oh, you know, I'm not welcome, etc. The difference in our emotions, the difference in the way that we behave, that it has a self-fulfilling prophecy. So do we think that perhaps through photography, we can change the way that we see the world, or at least point out that we have a choice in the way we see the world? So next slide, I think, please. So I'm only going to talk about reframing, but reframing, the objective, as you can see here, is to reframe how we see and respond to the world and to our experiences. Can we, you know, by asking people to look for beauty in the world, can we help people see more beauty in the world? To ask somebody to look, you know, at connections in the world. Can we see more love and connection in the world? Can we build more trust in the world? Let's go to the next slide. We have one of the things that we did. We started building a library of prompts because, you know, we realized that not everything works for everybody. And the whole idea really is just to start a conversation about looking at the way we see the world and showing that there are differences. You know, not everybody sees things the same way. There are different ways of seeing things. We can see things in the light, and we can see things in the dark. How does it change our perspective to look at something in the dark, in black and white, or in color? How does it change our perspective to have the subject as the main part of the frame, or in the side of the frame? So one of the experiences I had was with another of my children who had gone through a traumatic experience. She'd had much therapy, and it really wasn't making a huge amount of difference until we started talking about, well, is there a way that you can see the world not through the lens of the trauma, but in some way that you can move the trauma to the side of the frame so that you're not invalidating the trauma, but actually you're just not seeing the whole world through that trauma. Can we have the next slide, please? So all of these prompts, we now have a library of maybe, 200 prompts for all of this. And the idea is about, can we start the conversation? The world is out there, as I said, but the way that we perceive it has a big impact on our beliefs, our emotions, and our actions. Can we change it to the positive? Can we make a little shift? Can we inspire other people? And if we can shift to the positive, can we build some resilience? Can we build optimism? It's really about, I think, giving people choices, telling people that there's a different way of looking at the world. And so for me, all of these prompts, all of these pieces are just the beginning of the conversation. Can we have the next slide? So my question at the beginning was, can we visualize well-being? This triangle that I have here is really about building our own ways of asking those questions. Why do I matter? Is everything as bleak as I see it? What is my authentic self? So we have this website where we're putting our program on the site. We're going to put all of the prompts on the site. I'd like to think of it as, Dorota says, as a tool that can be used by therapists, by coaches, to just start the conversation, to ask people to start thinking about ways that they might see things differently, and that might increase their well-being. So that is my site. I would love for people to go and take a look at it. We have so many wonderful stories. And our mission is really to inform people. We have a blog, we have newsletters. It's really about informing people about the things that the science has told us increase well-being, and then letting people make their own choices. So thank you for listening to me. I hope that it can give you more tools to use in your own practice. It can give you tools to increase people's knowledge about well-being and what actually makes people happy. And thank you to Dorota for asking me to come and talk. It was quite an education for me to sit here and listen to other people to see the ways in which photography is used. I had no idea. I was living in my own little world of the science and everything else. And I was very new to coaching, but I'm very happy to be here. And thank you to all of you for listening.
Thank you, Mandy. And thank you for accepting the invitation too. So before we move to the Q&A and some reflections sharing, I want to give you more opportunities to interact in smaller groups as well. I would like to just summarize from my side with a few, let's say, definitions and ideas, quotes. I hope you have received different examples of how photography can be used. My beginning was definitely in coaching. So in two examples I told about in my introductory speech, you could hear how I build a session by using the questions and introducing a photograph. And with the next presentations, you could see how other people adapted, rework it, how they create their practices. And I think that the word creativity, flexibility, and really following your client are the most accurate here. And let me just share a really few slides to summarize the definitions. Because the definition of coaching itself is very much about relationship, connection, and growth. And it's about partnering with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. I use the ICF definition. The EMCC ICF, so the coaching leading organizations, have very similar definitions. And it happens in a dialogue that creates space for reflection and clarification process. And it aims at strengthening the client's ability to self-recognize, make their own decisions, and take actions. I also wanted to bring the definition of the mental health today into our conversations. And I used the definition from the World Health Organization that the mental health is defined as a state of well-being in which each individual realizes his or her own potential, can cope with the normal stress of life, and can work productively and fruitfully, and is thus also able to contribute to the community. I think that these two definitions very well summarize all the case studies and examples that you could see. And I would like also to bring a few sentences from my initial introductions about photographs. The photos from our lives help connect to what is deep inside us and bring it out, speak it loud, and continue to build on it. Personal photos show valuable and important moments from life and can trigger energy for personal change and growth in the future. That was definitely strongly my experience with the clients. Personal photos are excellent in connecting to people through beliefs and feelings. Our own biographies can inspire us for further growth if we can only see them as continuity. And I think that Bridget's case was shown very beautifully, this bridge. Seeing photos activates in us what we describe. And my definition from my book, which I created some years ago, is that photography in coaching refers to the use of photography in a liberating, creative, and non-judgmental manner, which initiates, facilitates, and enriches the exploration and understanding of the self. By the way, this is the cover of my book. I've shown you the Judy's book, so the black and white is the one image, many words. I want to thank you very much for coming, joining us, having this discussion and the presentations. I hope you take ideas for your work and inspiration. And after the symposium, I will send you the contact details to all the presenters and the link to the recording, so you will catch up on that. And I hope you will stay in touch. I want to thank the presenters for all that work done during the last months to do this event. Your clients who agreed, you who came. And I also wanted to thank someone very special here. I guess you know whom I'm speaking about. But for a very special reason. I've been developing the photography and coaching since a couple of years already. And I wanted to thank you, Judy, for the support you gave me for years It's us in the photo. Imagine some years ago. I had that idea that this symposium is also an idea of building bridges between the use of photos in coaching and therapy. Because we're speaking about using photos for the best of the other people, and the coaching and therapy and other fields, this is to serve for the best of our clients. And we can work in different contexts, and we can use different aspects of photographs, but the principles remain the same. It's all about what people take, bring, and think about it, and what they say, and how it will help them to grow. I'm using the word grow, but there could be other words too. Heal, be happier, but it's all about growth in life. So Judy we met some years ago, and it happened when I published my book, and I wanted to know Judy personally. We had a little conversation, and Judy was the first person to support me consistently over the years in my developments. Although Judy is not a coach, yes, but a therapist, but she could see the value of my work. And I think that without that support, we wouldn't probably be there here today. So I really wanted to help you and to express my gratitude. I don't know which girl you are in this photo. This could be.
I'm the one in between. I'm the one in between.
The one in between. And just to finish that, just to remind you a few moments from our meeting. That's the picture I made for you.
Oh my goodness, Dorota!
And now see the reactions. We're now really in the workshop.
This is 2017 in Warsaw, when she arranged for me to give the opening presentation about using photos in coaching. And I want to explain that I began with a deep apology about what I thought when I first heard of coaching, which is they just want to be counselors and not have to go to school. And I was so embarrassed when I found out about the profession itself, and I said that in that speech. But the one thing I want to explain, Dorota, is when you said there's one person I really, really want to thank, and I'm sure you know who I mean. I thought you meant your husband, who's been so supportive of your work for so many, many years. I'm sitting here nodding, thinking it's Jacek. And it's like, oh, it's me. Oh, sorry. So I'm finished.
Thank you. Yes, in the upper line there is Warsaw, in the lower line is Perugia, when you brought me to the therapeutic environment, saying you have to speak about your coaching there. So just, this act of gratitude to finish this symposium, but of course, I'm absolutely grateful to anyone here. And I just want to wish you all the best and beautiful growth in your lives. Use these ideas as much as you can, develop your ideas, hear your voices, and let's stay connected. Because we are not the single people who do something about photographs. This is the whole big community of the people. So thank you once more. Thank you a lot. And have a good weekend, the rest of the weekend. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dorota, for organizing it, and everyone else to participate. It was a great experience.
Thank you.